Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us, and welcome to the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office 2023 Awards Ceremony. Again, thank you all for being here with us today. Before we begin, we'd like to remind you of the old cell phone thing. If you could please silence your cell phones, we appreciate that. Also, just outside the double doors in the back and to the left, you'll find restrooms. We're here today to recognize and honor MCSO members, members of partner agencies, and members of the community who have performed in an exemplary manner in service to our agency and to the community we serve. Our awards process is member-driven. Nominations are generally submitted by members, and each year the awards committee convenes to review the nominations and forward their recommendations to the chiefs and sheriff, who issue the final decision for each nomination. There are 8 award types ranging from recognizing commendable service to acts of heroism. All awards issued today recognize actions in the 2022 calendar year. Multnomah County Multnomah County staff photographer Matoya Nakamura will be joining us. He's on his way. Christina Kempster is also here. They'll be taking photos, official photos of our recipients as they receive their awards from the sheriff. And these photos will be sent to members later this week. Additionally, friends and family will have the opportunity to take photos with your recipients and the sheriff here at the end of our ceremony. At this time, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, led by Sergeant Brian White, will open our ceremony with the posting of the colors and the singing of our national anthem by Sergeant Janelle Olszewski. We ask all who are able to please stand and remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, dost that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Thank you. The Sheriff's Office is comprised of 4 divisions. I'd like to introduce to you the chief of each division, standing to my left. Chief John Harms Mallant of Business Services. Chief Deputy Steve Alexander, Agency Services. Chief Deputy Steve Reardon, Corrections Facilities. Chief Deputy James Erickson, Law Enforcement Division. And in the executive branch, Katie Burgard, Chief of Staff to Sheriff Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell. Thank you, Chiefs. We also want to acknowledge and welcome any elected leaders or dignitaries in attendance. We appreciate you being here with us as well. At this time, I would like to introduce Sheriff Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell. Sheriff Morrissey O'Donnell has dedicated her life to public safety, beginning her career here at MCSO in 1996. She holds a dual certification in both police and corrections from the Oregon Department of Public Safety Standards and Training. Sheriff Morrissey O'Donnell leads our agency with a unified team spirit. Sheriff.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It's exciting to see all of us gathered here today in what is our first in-person ceremony to celebrate our award recipients since 2019. Today, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of Multnomah County Sheriff's Office members and the contributions that community members and partner agencies have made to support our work, all in service to our community. Public safety professionals don't enter into this work to seek the spotlight. They have a true calling for serving our community with compassion, pride, bravery, and the integrity to do what is right and just, even in the most unimaginable of circumstances. Dedicated to always keeping our community safe, day in and day out. It is important to me and our organization to highlight exceptional work and courageous actions. It is also important that family, friends, and supporters get to see our award recipients being honored and appreciated, getting a glimpse into the world where they spend so much of their time. I am committed to developing a culture of recognition within our organization. When we take time to notice and highlight outstanding work by our colleagues, it lifts the performance of all of us and makes our agency even stronger. Everyone here does amazing work each and every day. The people who are being recognized today went beyond the high standards that every member of our agency holds themselves to. When I read the nominations for these awards, I have never felt more inspired and proud, and I hope you feel the same. Before we begin, I would also like to thank Sergeant Brian White, Chair of our Awards Committee, and the Awards Committee members for their dedication and thoughtful deliberations throughout the awards nomination and selection process. We appreciate you. Again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share our exceptional work with you today, and now I would like to introduce Law Enforcement Sergeant Brian White, who will begin reading the awards.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everyone. We ask that you please hold your applause until after each award narrative has been read today. Thank you. We'll begin today with the letter of commendation. The letter of commendation may be awarded to a member or unit of the agency, public safety community, or the public who performs a commendable act to the Sheriff's Office. Will Deputy Ryan Barrett please come forward? Good morning. In September 2022, Deputy Ryan Barrett rolled up on a Clackamas County Sheriff's deputy engaging with a person having a serious mental health crisis at a gas station. Deputy Barrett, who was there to fill up his patrol car with fuel, jumped into action and helped Deputy Belmont from the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office get control of the situation. In a letter to MCSO, Deputy Belmont wrote that he was unable to radio for help in the moment, and that Deputy Barrett exemplifies the finest law enforcement has to offer to the community. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Deputy Ryan Barrett. Sergeant Brandon White, Deputies Chris Mickelson, David Patchett, Ben Sanchez, Kurt Simmons, Rob Whiteside, Mike Wood, and retired Deputy John Lindsay, please come forward. As part of the MCSO's Corrections Transport Unit, these members teamed up with the Transit Police Division to make public safety missions more efficient and effective. Led by Sergeant White, these deputies set expectations around booking criteria and process custodies quickly so that law enforcement deputies were able to return to patrol. Due to the success of these implemented procedures, this practice is now a standard for all missions. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Sergeant Brandon White, Deputies Chris Mickelson, David Patchett, Ben Sanchez, Kurt Simmons, Rob Whiteside, Mike Wood, and retired Deputy John Lindsay. Next award is for Deputy Jeremy Costello, who is unable to be here today. And for him and all other recipients who are unable to attend, we will still honor their award by reading the award publicly today. During a civil unit roll call, deputies heard Gresham police officers being dispatched to a crash involving a motorcyclist that was in close proximity to the civil unit office. While not a sheriff's office call, Captain Ryan Hackle and Deputy Jeremy Costello immediately left roll call to respond to the scene. They were the first to arrive. Upon quickly assessing the scene and patient needs, Deputy Costello applied an MCSO-issued tourniquet to the motorcyclist's badly fractured leg to control bleeding. Thanks in large part to Deputy Costello's immediate actions, this motorcyclist was given the chance to survive their injuries. For performing a commendable service to the agency, Deputy Jeremy Costello is receiving the letter of commendation. Deputy Joe Kaiser and call taker Scott Nauman, please come forward. On Christmas Eve 2022, Bureau of Emergency Communications call taker Scott Nauman received a 911 call from a distraught family in the city of Maywood Park. The caller reported that their mother was unconscious and not breathing. So Scott dispatched the Fire Bureau and created an AED assist call, which alerts deputies to medical calls within our jurisdiction. Scott then proceeded to talk the family through CPR. While waiting for first responders to arrive, Scott remained calm and professional, not only helping the family to render aid, but also supporting and reassuring them through the process. When Deputy Joe Kaiser arrived, he administered the first of what was to be several shocks from his AED, which were successful. The patient began breathing again and moving when they were transported to the hospital by ambulance. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Deputy Joe Kaiser and BOEC call taker Scott Nauman. Next award is for Detective Sean Fitzgerald, who I believe is not able to be here this morning, so we will read his award in his honor. In late 2021, Detective Sean Fitzgerald was assigned a complex child abuse investigation involving 2 children. Over the next 17 months, Detective Fitzgerald developed a solid case against the suspect, leading to the filing of nearly a dozen criminal charges in January of 2023. Detective Fitzgerald's investigative tenacity and ethical drive protected these 2 children from further abuse and provided a path for them to obtain justice. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Detective Sean Fitzgerald. Will Detective Jordan Smith and Deputy Andre Godinay please come forward? In 2021, Detective Jordan Smith identified a person of interest who was likely involved in stealing catalytic converters within MCSO patrol districts. Along with Deputy Andre Godinez, Detective Smith stopped the suspect and recovered 3 catalytic converters from the vehicle. During the stop, they learned that they had more catalytic converters and firearms at the suspect's home. During a consent search of the suspect's home, deputies recovered 106 catalytic converters, 30 fentanyl pills, 1 handgun, and 1 Ghost AR-15. This was and still is the biggest catalytic converter seizure ever in Multnomah County. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Detective Jordan Smith and Deputy Andre Godinez. Congrats. Deputy Dave Smith and Rachel McCarthy, please come forward. One afternoon in December 2022, Multnomah County Court's Public Information Officer Rachel McCarthy noticed a man sitting on a chair in the lobby of the Central Courthouse, whom she had recognized as a person who was reported missing and believed to be suffering from mental health issues. Rachel notified then Facility Security Officer Dave Smith, who in turn confirmed the man's identity and called 911 for further assistance. The man was safely returned home and received the necessary medical attention. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Rachel McCarthy and Deputy Dave Smith. Will Deputies Tim Moore, Nicholas Olet, Samir Sachirovich, and retired Deputy Steve Meyer please come forward? In November 2021, Deputy Olet found an adult in custody struggling to breathe and immediately called for medical assistance. Deputy Meyer was the first to arrive on the scene, and thinking that the person was choking, he began performing the Heimlich maneuver. Upon realizing the person was still experiencing a medical emergency, and with the help of deputies Sachirovich and Moore, they moved the adult in custody, who was now unconscious and not breathing, to a more open area to begin CPR. The person regained consciousness but was still struggling to breathe. The 4 deputies then determined that he was likely having an allergic reaction. Deputies Moore and Sachirovich ran and retrieved the EpiPen from the medical staff. They administered the injection, therefore ending the medical emergency. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the letter of commendation to Deputies Tim Moore, Nicholas Olet, Samir Sachirovich, and retired Deputy Steve Meyer. Deputy Jesse Volker, please come forward. While transporting a custody to jail on February 9, 2022, Deputy Jesse Volker noticed that the man was suddenly unresponsive in the back seat of her patrol vehicle. Concerned that the man was overdosing on drugs, Deputy Volker asked BOEC to start an ambulance to the Troutdale Sheriff's Office. Deputy Volker returned to the Troutdale office to meet AMR as she was closer to that location than proceeding to the downtown jail. Patrol deputies met Deputy Volker outside and administered multiple doses of Narcan to the man, who was then revived. Receiving prompt doses of Narcan were critical in his survival in this situation. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Deputy Jesse Volker. Deputy Russell Felmy, please come forward. Okay, looks like Deputy Felmy is unable to attend today, so we'll read his award in his honor. In January 2022, while working a housing module at the Multnomah County Detention Center, Deputy Felmy observed an adult in custody come out of his cell with a sheet tied around his neck. Recognizing this as the start of a possible suicide attempt, he ordered the man to stop and return to his cell, but the man did not. As Deputy Felmy saw the event becoming more critical, he ordered the other adults in custody to cell in. As he was doing this, the man placed a chair on a table, stood up on the chair, and began tying the other end of the sheet to an upper tier railing. Deputy Felmy swiftly intervened and prevented the man from harming himself. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Deputy Russell Felmy. Deputy Eric Logue, please come forward. Deputy Eric Logue was the agency's leading training instructor in 2022. During the course of that year, he taught 16 different training courses, resulting in 824 hours of instruction. Deputy Logue instructed classes for new hires, MCO staff during the annual in-service training, and led one-time special trainings. Deputy Logue taught a variety of students from all MCSO divisions, as well as people outside the Sheriff's Office, including Multnomah County, TriMet, and other community partners. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Deputy Eric Logue. Our next award is the Community Service Award, which may be awarded to a member or unit of the agency, public safety, community, or the public whose actions take an active role in building a better community. Will Captain Doug Asbo please come forward? For several years, Captain Asbo led the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Homeless Outreach and Programs Engagement Team, otherwise known as the HOPE Team, which practices an outreach-first approach to connect people experiencing homelessness with services. Under his leadership, Captain Asbo strengthened partnerships with state and federal agencies. In 2022, Governor Kate Brown awarded Captain Asbo with the State Lands Board Catalyst Award, an award not typically given to a public safety professional. When presenting the award to Captain Asbo, the governor said in part, quote, "Doug Asbo is committed to understanding individual experiences and needs. He builds real relationships. He lifts up his team and his partners, sharing knowledge and securing resources," end quote. Later in 2022, Captain Asbo and his family were made honorary residents of Maywood Park, our contract city, of which he has been the chief of police. For being a change maker in the community, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a Community Service Award to Captain Doug Asbo. Chief Deputy Steve Reardon, please come forward. One of the few things that Chief Deputy Steve Reardon is more passionate about than golf is helping students at the Northeast Community Transitional School. The school's goal is providing at-risk youth with a stable educational environment to promote academic and personal growth. The Community Transitional School is an organization that Chief Deputy Reardon dedicates a great amount of his personal time to, most significantly by organizing MCSO's Battle of the Associations golf tournament. After a successful inaugural event in 2021, registrations for the 2022 tournament grew to 144 participants, which is the maximum number of players for a single course golf tournament. Because of his efforts, Chief Deputy Reardon created an event that unites our members while also creating a generous funding stream for the Community Transitional School. For making a difference in the community, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Community Service Award to Chief Deputy Steve Reardon. Our next award is the Unit Citation, which may be awarded to members of a unit, public safety group, or community organization who have collectively performed their regular duties, assignment, mission, or a project in an exemplary manner, which brings credit to the Sheriff's Office. Will members of the Detectives Unit please come forward? The Multnomah County Detectives Unit investigates a variety of major crimes such as homicide, assault, gun violence, burglary, and child abuse. In 2022, the MCSO Detectives Unit completed 19 major crimes team investigations. Combined with a surge in criminal investigations throughout Multnomah County, the Detectives Unit consistently navigated case law modifications, adjusted to complex search warrant requirements, and worked extensive hours. Predominantly, the caseload for the Detectives Unit in 2022 consisted of Measure 11 crimes. These cases received the highest level of scrutiny by the District Attorney's Office and circuit courts for prosecution. They worked as a team on dozens of these cases to maintain this judicial standard, to hold suspects accountable, and to support victims. Because of their good work, cases have been justly resolved and adjudicated, making Multnomah County a safer place to live. The Detectives Unit recipients include Captains Matt Jordan and Carrie Kerr, Detective Sergeants Gary Kirby and Brad Robertson, and Detectives Sean Fitzgerald, Tamari Johnson, Pat Leahy, Dylan Lurch, Kevin O'Dill, Jordan Smith, Chris Stevens, Darren Tabor, Craig Vining, John Zwick, and investigative technician Daniel Felix. For performing their collective duties in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Unit Citation Award to the Detectives Unit. So we'll look, yeah, I'll help you out with some of these. Will members of the Law Enforcement Records Unit please come forward? Yeah. Oh, okay. The Law Enforcement Records Unit is available to the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. In 2022, the LE Records Division fielded more than 16,000 phone inquiries, over 4,000 counter contacts at our Troutdale Patrol Office, and confirmed approximately 8,000 warrants. Each of these contacts consists of considerable attention and work to provide the highest level of customer service to the public that we serve. Records technicians are not just the backbone to our LE division, they are often placed in the position of being first responders themselves. Despite facing staffing challenges, the dedicated members of this unit lead with compassion and professionalism to the members of our community and to their MCSO colleagues. This unit upholds the highest standards of accuracy and efficiency. Without this unit, the LE division simply could not function. Law Enforcement Records Unit recipients include Adam Barber, Terry Bennett, Dana Bell, Francis Kopp, Jacqueline DeBolt, Julie DuPont, Amber Hahn, Anitra Harris, Beth Huddleston, Leslie Johnson, Joel Martin, Melissa Martinez, Judy McLean, Keely McNeil, Wendy Normand, Lacey Riffle, Jennifer Sachin, Natasha Saxton, Amanda Schlimpert, Kelly Shanahan, Michelle Sherman, Tessa Stevens, and Emma Wright. For performing their collective duties in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Unit Citation Award to the Law Enforcement Records Unit. Will members of the Reserve Deputy Unit please come forward? Throughout 2022, MCSO's reserve deputies have worked tirelessly to support the work of the patrol unit. With increased emphasis on both targeted crime reduction operations, such as the Enhanced Public Safety Initiative, transit police missions, and community engagement, our reserve deputies have been busier than ever. Remarkably, these deputies do this work on a completely voluntary, unpaid basis, while also working full-time jobs to support their families. Consisting of only 6 deputies, this unit responded to more than 1,100 calls for service in 2002. They also performed 126 transports of adults in custody to MCDC. Reserve Deputy Unit recipients include Mike Bender, Rick Cokes, Jared Durkee, Mike Glass, Todd McLaury, John Ploichet, and Steve Redmond. For performing their collective duties in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Unit Citation Award to the Reserve Deputy Unit. Congrats, guys. And now I'd like to introduce Communications Director Chris Lytle to continue reading the awards.
Good morning. We've heard some incredible stories already. I have the pleasure of recognizing members awarded the Citation Award. This may be awarded to a member of the agency, public safety community, or the public who consistently performs their regular duties in an exemplary manner, which brings credit to the Sheriff's Office. It may also be awarded for exemplary performance in an individual assignment or project and for going above and beyond expectations. I'd like to call Katie Bailey to please come forward. When Katie Bailey was promoted to staff assistant, she oversaw not only updating of all MCSO procedures and policies, but the implementation of a new software system to store and catalog the policies and procedures. The introduction of a new system has been extremely complex, yet immensely beneficial. Katie has led trainings, developed messaging, and worked alongside managers to ensure a seamless implementation. For her exemplary performance in an individual project, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Katie Bailey. Lynette Hansen, please come forward. Many assignments were moved to telework to reduce the risk of transmission of COVID-19 during the pandemic. With the ending of all in-person services, the primary method for community members to contact the Sheriff's Office was by telephone. The responsibility for answering the calls to the administrative office fell on one person, Lynette Hansen. According to call log data, Lynette fielded more than 25,000 calls from 2020 to 2022. These phone calls covered questions ranging from MCSO COVID-19 policies and facility closures to protests and general inquiries for services. As a result of her experience, Lynette helped set the framework for a more efficient phone tree system that was implemented last year. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Lynette Hansen. Reserve Deputy Mike Bender. During 2022, Reserve Deputy Mike Bender led the reserve unit in hours worked, clocking 943, accounting for more than a third of the total hours worked for the entire reserve unit. At an average of 79 hours worked per month, Deputy Bender far exceeded the base expectation of a reserve deputy, which is 16 hours per month. Deputy Bender also led the reserve unit in calls for service taken, self-initiated calls, and transports to the jail completed. He has proven himself an asset to the agency, exhibiting the professionalism expected of all MCSO members. For performing his duties in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the Sheriff's Office, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Reserve Deputy Mike Bender. Deputy Doug Davidson. I believe he's receiving his award at a later date. Close Street Deputy Doug Davidson is receiving the Citation Award for going above and beyond. In November 2022, an adult in custody learned that his mother had passed. The judge overseeing the person's case allowed the adult to be temporarily released to attend his mother's funeral. The evening before the scheduled temporary release, Deputy Davidson was informed of a probation hold that prevent him from attending. Determined to make this possible, early the next morning, Deputy Davidson was on the phone with judges and attorneys, and they worked together with urgency to resolve the situation and ensure the temporary release happened as scheduled. The family expressed gratitude to Deputy Davidson and our agency for his effort to support this unique opportunity. For bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Deputy Doug Davidson. Deputies Jeff Elias and Mark Farmer, and Portland Police Officers Tracy Eliath and Aaron Douchy. And you just came from SWOT evaluation, correct? Yeah, sorry. Welcome. We're glad you made it. In the evening of December 19th, 2022, Deputies Jeff Elias and Mark Farmer and Portland Police Officers Tracy Eliath and Aaron Douchy responded to a domestic disturbance with multiple victims. When they arrived, Deputy Elias located one victim and brought him to medical personnel. Before officers were able to arrest the suspect, deputies learned that he had started a fire in the house. The team of officers also learned that the suspect's sister was still inside the home. Deputy Farmer began to evacuate the house and found the woman, helping her exit safely. Deputy Farmer and Officers Eliath and Douchy searched the house and verified no one else was inside. And it could not come sooner as the fire quickly overtook the home. For performing their duties in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to their respective agencies, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to MCSO Deputies Jeff Elias, Mark Farmer, and PPB Officers Tracy Eliath and Aaron Douchy. Megan Gallagher and Laura Malmstrom, please come forward. Corrections Counselor Megan Gallagher and Project Manager Laura Malmstrom work in a program currently called the Medication Supported Recovery Program, or MSR. Their work has life-changing impacts on adults in custody struggling with opioid use disorder and their families as it extends beyond their time in custody. In 2022, Laura and Megan responded to more than 400 requests for service under the MSR program. Because of their success, the program is expanding to include substance abuse treatment. For bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Megan Gallagher and Laura Malmstrom. Deputy Josh De La Torre. One afternoon in early August 2022, Deputy Sheriff Josh De La Torre was playing outside with his son when he saw flames from the side of his neighbor's home. Knowing a mother and children were inside, Deputy De La Torre jumped into action and pounded on the front door, but he did not get a response. So Deputy De La Torre grabbed the hose and began to douse the flames, which were now beginning to spread up the side of the house and threatening a nearby natural gas line. A passerby dialed 911 while he continued to fight the flames. As expressed by his neighbor, without Deputy De La Torre's bravery and quick actions, they could have lost their home and risked serious injury or worse. For acting in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Deputy Josh De La Torre. Sergeant Joshua Zwick is receiving his award at a later date. As a night shift supervisor, Sergeant Josh Zwick is routinely tasked with supervising a group of deputies who are newer to the agency. While training and development is a duty of all sergeants, the composition of this particular shift brings with it increased responsibility of shaping the future leaders of our law enforcement division. Sergeant Zwick blends a charismatic leadership style with uncompromising integrity and operational excellence each and every day. He continually uplifts the work of his team with a relentless, positive, and encouraging attitude. For consistently performing his duties in an exemplary manner above and beyond what is expected, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is awarding Sergeant Josh Zwick with the Citation Award. Sergeants Aaron Sykowski and Joshua Zwick. From April to July 2022, MCSO launched the Enhanced Public Safety Initiative, or EPSI, in response to increasing levels of gun violence and traffic fatalities in East Multnomah County. Sergeant Sykowski and Zwick were tasked with devising and implementing missions based on data-driven analysis while meeting the need for community-engaged policing. Sergeant Zwick drove missions focused in East County, while Sergeant Sykowski managed missions for the Transit Police Division. The missions began under Sergeant Zwick's lead as on-shift exercises to inspire his team. Their missions resulted in hundreds of traffic stops and dozens of arrests, and took considerable coordination and collaboration with many partner agencies. For exemplary performance in an individual assignment or project and bringing credit to the Sheriff's Office, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Sergeants Aaron Sykowski and Josh Zwick. Violet Wild, please come forward. Communications Coordinator Violet Wild took on the monumental task of managing the 2021 awards process. But 2021 was not a typical award year. Due to the pandemic and operational disruptions brought on by months of protests and riots, no award ceremony was held in either 2020 or 2021. This meant combining 2 awards periods. In the time period Violet managed, more than 500 members received an award, an historic quantity. Compared to a typical awards year, there are typically 35 awards announced. Voluntarily accepting the role of project manager, she fielded all awards nominations and performed follow-up work to fill out incomplete forms, track down employee rosters, schedule and facilitate meetings between the awards committee and command staff, and work through supply chain issues when ordering plaques and frames for certificates. For performing in an exemplary manner and bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Citation Award to Communications Coordinator Violet Wilds. Now to recognize members receiving the Life Saving Award. The Life Saving Award may be awarded to a member of the agency, public safety community, or the public who is just directly responsible to saving or prolonging a human life. Deputies Corinne Wilson and Sean Payne are both receiving their award at a later date. Deputies Corinne Wilson and Sean Payne responded to a call for an emergency welfare check for a woman believed to be suicidal and experiencing a mental health crisis in December 2022. Unable to elicit a response from within the house upon their arrival, they made the decision to force entry. They found the woman passed out on the garage floor with her car running. They quickly pulled the woman from the garage so that paramedics could render aid. In a letter to MCSO, the woman's ex-husband said that he believes that the quick actions of Deputies Wilson and Payne likely saved her life. For their excellent decision-making and swift actions that are directly attributable to saving a life, Deputies Corinne Wilson and Sean Payne are each recipients of a life-saving award. Now to honoring a member receiving the Distinguished Service Award. This award may be given to the member of the agency, public safety, community, or the public who distinguishes themselves and brings credit to the Sheriff's Office by demonstrating a continuous pattern of excellence, significantly rising above the expected norm of public service and normal expectations for assignments and duties over an extended portion of the member's career. Sergeant Brian White, please come forward. Sergeant Brian White has been a member of the Sheriff's Office since 2003 and a sergeant since 2011. Over the course of his career, he has consistently performed his duties with excellence, and he routinely goes above and beyond. Sergeant White serves as our Traffic Safety Grant Coordinator. In this extra role, he manages a large grant budget and is responsible for scheduling traffic missions throughout the year. Sergeant White also supervises the agency's commercial motor vehicle unit, which conducts roadside inspections on commercial vehicles to ensure they meet federal and state safety requirements and standards. As a member of the Honor Guard for the past 15 years, and much of that time in a supervisory role, Sergeant White exemplifies a commitment to honoring prior MCSO members who paid the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their commitment to our agency's values. And he has taken the responsibility for end-of-watch notifications. Sergeant White is an active supporter of Honor Flight, a nonprofit group that takes veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the national memorials. He serves as president on the agency's Benevolent Fund Board, and he is a long-standing peer support member. Sergeant White not only spends a lot of time on community engagement, but he invests a huge amount of time in his MCSO community too. He has been a chair of the MCSO Awards Committee for many years and serves as a backup public information officer for the communications unit. In addition to these extraordinary additional duties, Sergeant White delivers a high work rate on his basic patrol duties. He responded to more than 1,900 calls of service and 1,500 which were self-initiated in 2022 alone. During the course of his career, Sergeant White has made over 13,000 traffic stops, more than any member of the agency in the last 2 decades. For distinguishing himself by demonstrating a continuous pattern of excellence, going above and beyond expectations over the past 20 years, the agency is proud to award Sergeant Brian White with the highly regarded Distinguished Service Award. Now I would like to present 3 award types to a number of recipients for their actions during one specific event that occurred on August 29th, 2022. Early that morning on the 29th, a pickup truck collided with a tanker truck carrying high-octane gasoline on Highway 26 near Stone Road just east of Gresham. One of the 2 tanks had exploded, and there was grave concern the second fuel tank was ready to explode. This is where we begin. I'd like to call forward Cody Yoakum. Cody is receiving the letter of commendation. From a distance, Cody could see a bright orange glow against the night sky as he rolled up on the Inferno. He didn't stand around. Cody found the tanker truck driver standing outside his rig and directed him away from the fire. Cody called 911 and relayed critical information that the tanker truck driver was okay, but that the driver of the pickup truck was in bad shape and still stuck in his car. On the 911 call, you can hear Cody pounding on the window of the truck, trying to break the window. When deputies arrive, Cody helped the deputies guide the person out of the vehicle and away from the crash. For performing a commendable service to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a letter of commendation to Cody Yoakum. Deputies Ryan Barrett, Daniel Estes, Cassidy Malco, and Sean Payne. These deputies are each receiving the Citation Award. A number of MCSO deputies were dispatched to the collision. The second wave of responders included Deputies Barrett, Estes, Malco, and Payne. They arrived to find flames as high as the trees, threatening to spread to nearby homes and brush. Deputies Malco and Estes requested a reverse 911 call to nearby residents, initiating the evacuation of those in danger from the spreading fire. Deputies Barrett and Payne blocked traffic in both directions of the highway, ensuring emergency response crews would have clear access to the scene. During an event that had great potential for death, their decisive and deliberate actions, their teamwork, contributed greatly to a fortunate outcome. For their exemplary performance in bringing credit to the agency, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents a citation award to Deputies Ryan Barrett, Daniel Estes, Cassidy Malco, and Sean Payne. Now I would like to introduce the recipients receiving the Award of Valor. The Award of Valor is the highest award at our agency. It may be awarded to a member of MCSO or the public safety community who performs a heroic act while fully aware of the imminent threat to members or another person's personal safety. Sergeant David Jackson and Deputies Ryan Barnes, Adam Krashauer, and Kevin Johnson. They'll be receiving their award at a later date. Sergeant David Jackson and Deputy Ryan Barnes arrived to the scene first and discovered that the tanker truck driver, while visibly injured, was out of his vehicle. The driver of the pickup truck, however, was unconscious and trapped in his truck. The situation was dire. The noise of the towering inferno sounded like a freight train, and the members were falling, and embers were falling around the deputies as flames approached approximately 20 yards away. Sergeant Jackson and Deputy Barnes were joined by deputies Adam Krashower and Kevin Johnson. The driver of the pickup truck was breathing but unconscious. Together they tried to break the window, but they were initially unable to. One of the deputies located a vehicle hitch ball and smashed the window. Sergeant Jackson released the driver from his seatbelt, and the deputies pulled the driver from his vehicle. He was motionless and badly hurt. As they ushered him away, the man's pickup truck caught fire. For their heroic actions, running towards imminent and significant danger to rescue the trapped driver from impending death, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Award of Valor to Sergeant David Jackson and Deputies Ryan Barnes, Adam Krashower, and Kevin Johnson. And we appreciate everyone who responded to that particular event on August 29th. Lastly, I call forward Sergeants David Jackson and Todd Weber. On the afternoon of April 12, 2022, patrol deputies responded to a report of a robbery at a store in the Troutdale Outlet Mall, where a security guard had been threatened with a firearm. Sergeant David Jackson located the suspect's car and pursued the vehicle. When the car drove onto I-84, Sergeant Jackson was joined by Sergeant Todd Weber. Another sheriff's deputy was able to get ahead of the pursuit and successfully deploy spike strips. As the suspects drove into Fairview, one of them began firing a gun out of their car in the direction of Sergeants Weber and Jackson. Sergeant Weber, in lead position, could see the muzzle flash of the weapon. Despite this grave safety concern, Sergeant Weber maintained focus and calmly provided radio communications. Throughout the pursuit, the suspect continued firing rounds at pursuing deputies, with at least one round striking Sergeant Jackson's vehicle. The suspects were arrested after a foot chase, and the firearm was recovered. When the event ended, the gravity of the situation was realized. Sergeant Weber would eventually count a total of 9 rounds fired in their direction, and at least one of the rounds hit Sergeant Jackson's patrol vehicle directly below his driving position. The sergeants never returned fire. In court, the suspects later pled guilty to 2 counts of attempted murder, 1 for each sergeant, and robbery in the first degree. Sergeant Jackson and Weber exhibited decisiveness, courage, and composure during an immensely dangerous, critical incident. Despite their own lives being in persistent, imminent danger, they protected their community from violent criminals who were acting toward them with murderous intent. For their heroic actions, poise in the face of danger, and cautious and skillful decision-making, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office presents the Award of Valor to Sergeants David Jackson and Todd Weber.
So please join me in one last final congratulatory round of applause for all of today's award recipients. And again, thank you all so much for being here with us. We're really glad that you're here. Now we're going to attempt to do something that we haven't done before, And if it works out, I think we may make it a tradition. But we're going to ask all of today's award recipients to come forward with the sheriff, and we're going to take an official photograph. So please, all of today's award recipients, please come forward. And can I ask the honor guard to join also in the photo?
This will be like Little League Baseball.
Whoop.
If you can't see Matoya, he can't see you. That's the rule.
Okay, so with that photo taken, this will conclude our ceremony. Everyone in attendance is welcome to join us in the back room here for some refreshments. Thank you for coming. Have a great day.